Hey guys, it's the Nerdy Movie Guy. So today we're going to be talking about another horror movie, and this one's going to be about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one from 1974. So before we dive into the movie, I want to talk about kind of the collector's standpoint. I technically have two copies, just because I don't know what to do with the second one. The first one I got, or the first one I have, is on Blu-ray. So this is the cover. It's a nice steelbook hardcover. And it's pretty nice. Kind of got that chainsaw that wraps around. It's neat artwork. And boy, by the time I bought this, there had not yet been a 4K format for this movie yet. So I picked this one up. This one was $10 at Best Buy when I bought it, so it's a pretty nice deal. And I believe because the 4K is available now through Best Buy and Amazon, the movie is still at a pretty low fair price. So if you haven't picked the movie up and you want the Blu-ray version, this is a cool one to pick up. Now the other one is in 4K, and I just thought this artwork is a lot more interesting. It feels like it kind of captures the horror genre vibe a lot more than the other one, and I feel like this picture more accurately depicts the horror and the terror in this movie. So, talking about this movie, obviously the movie came out in 1974, so if you're not really much of a collector, but you just kind of casually watch the movies, whether they're on streaming service or a friend's house, excuse me, you're probably going to see the movie in its Blu-ray format. And so the graphics aren't going to look all that great because of when it came out. And that's the thing with the 4K. When I watch this movie, I watch it on Blu-ray. So I have not yet seen the 4K format of this movie. However, when it comes to older movies, I almost feel from a collector's standpoint, or for someone who can notice the difference in 4K picture versus Blu-ray versus DVD, the older the movie is, most of them, the better they look on 4K. So Jaws is a great example. Die Hard was an excellent example. And I haven't checked this one out yet, but I'm willing to bet that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is going to be the same thing. Now, this movie, to me, what sets this movie apart from the other horror movies is, it's a little bit more violent than some of the others, or at least the one I've seen, because it has this eerie sense of dread and fright. And the characters in the movie it captures more of a realistic version of what would happen because it is based on a true story. But not only is the script based off of the real events, I feel like the acting captures it as well. And what they do in the movie, it just feels more realistic because it did happen. And the way this movie portrays Leatherface, portrays the people, you almost get the sense that there's just more terror in these characters than some other movies because of how gory it can be. Now, when I mention the gore, it's not going to be, guts, disgusting. It's not gory compared to a horror movie based on today's standards, but for its time, when it came out, it was pretty bloody, pretty gory. And that's the thing, is it just feels more frightful. And the villains in this movie, they just feel more eerie. There's just more of an unsettling vibe to these characters. It's not necessarily haunting. It's not going to keep you up at night, per se. But it's just more unsettling. It's eerie. And a lot of horror movies, or at least some of them, I feel, if you're a guy like me, you grew up with kids' movies. You grew up with so many movies where the good guy just prevails absolutely everything. You watch enough movies, you get to the point where you want to root for the bad guy. And I kind of got to that point when I started watching the Marvel movies. By the time Infinity War came around, I was rooting for Thanos. And it was during that time when Infinity War's released where I was kind of in this mood where I just kind of got bored of the good guys. I know this sounds kind of dumb, but when watching this movie, I couldn't root for the guy. I just can't. And that's how it is with horror movies. Some characters are just too cool. You gotta root for the bad guy, but this one's not the case. So, for a classic horror movie, I know there's been other variations of this one, but I feel, even though I haven't seen a lot of those others, I feel like this one kind of stands the test of time. There's a lot of people that will mention their favorite horror movie, and this is one of them, even after all these years. So, it's cool to have a 4K release. I can't wait to check out the 4K format version of the movie. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening.